Okay, so let's do some testing. I'm going to do the basic garage watt meter versus the SPL Lab versus the Termlab. And we're going to play 40 hertz, and this is the 0 dB track from the SMD DD1 CD. So we're going to start with volume 30, which is going to be like 100 watts or so. And then all the way up to volume 50, which is going to be between 9,000 and 10,000 watts. Now, volume 49 and volume 50, the Smart Tech will kick in on this Taramps Smart 8. So I don't really like using those volumes for consistency testing purposes because the way the Smart Tech works, it's really not too consistent. So we're going to test it anyway, but I'm just going to tell you right offhand, don't, just take it with a grain of salt, the volume 49 and volume 50. Now, the tests where the Smart Tech does not kick in, those are the ones that you need to really look at and see, how accurate these devices are upon one another. Now, I will say the previous videos that I did when I calibrated the clamp for the Termlab, it was a brand new clamp, and my lapel mic, it did not pick up any audio. I don't know if it's, it had a bad connection, battery was dead or whatever. I charged it up, and it's showing green right now, so hopefully the audio is working. See, it is on, so hopefully the audio is working. I'm not going to redo the video with the calibrating the clamp because I am satisfied with the calibration of that clamp. So let's do this testing with the basic garage watt meter version 2 versus the SPL LAB Next LCD versus the Termlab with a freshly calibrated clamp. All right, I'm not going to introduce the voltmeter and separate clamp because I've already done that several times, and these other two devices, the basic garage watt meter and the SPL Labs, they are spot on. So I'm not going to go through all that trouble. So, but you can see it's a spaghetti wire mess because I have so many devices running. I have 160 amp hour skid bank here to support the amplifier, which is more than enough. I have the Taramps 100 amp smart charger going, and it's set to the 14.5, 14.6 volt setting. And all the probes they're connected in the same places. So I'm going to write down all the results here, and I will show you at the end of the video. So let's zoom in so you can see it as it's happening as best as I can. All right. So we're going to be going with the wattage right here, the wattage right here, and then the wattage right here. So I'm going to put everything on peak hold. The amplifier is not on right now, and we're already on peak hold with SPL Labs. So let's turn the amplifier on. And this is a 40 hertz 0 dB track. Track number 1 on the DD1 CD. So here we go. Let's just do test number 1, volume 30. All right, so Base head garage watt meter says 135 watts. SPL Labs says 129. And the Termlab says 127. Okay. Now you can pause it and zoom in or whatever. It may be hard to see on your screen. All right, so volume, I'm not going to reset anything, because as we increase in volume, then the wattage reading is going to increase. So it'll make the testing run that much smoother, that much quicker. All right, so volume 31. Base head garage watt meter is 171. SPL Labs is 162. And then the Termlab is 160. Volume 32. All right, so we've got 215, 204, and 203. Volume 33. We've got 270, 259, and 255. Volume 34. We've got 333, 331, and 322. Volume 35. 422, 417, and 407. Volume 36. 527, 520, and 511. Volume 37. 657. Ooh, I don't like it. 666 and 643. Volume 38. 832. 833. And 812. Volume 39. 1049. 1045. 1027. Volume 40. 1327. 1326. 1302. Volume 41. 1662. 1675. And 1646. Volume 42. 2102. 2108. And then 2075. Volume 43. 2623. 2660. And then 2623. Volume 44. 43 or 3331, and then 3338, and 3314, volume 45, 4189, 4212, and 4123, volume 46, 4240, or I'm sorry, 5240, 5240, and then 5278, and then 5254, volume 47. And then right now I just want to add the Taramps Smart charger is only putting in 10 to 11 amps of current into the battery bank. So the battery bank is topped off at 14.5 volts. So again, volume 47 is our next test. Volume 47, 6690, 6715, and then 6530. Volume 48, 8316, 8387, 8136. So it's looking like the higher the wattage, the Termlab is falling off. It's not being as linear as the base head garage watt meter or the SPL lab. So, yeah. I mean, it is calibrated, and up to volume 46, it was, spot on. And volume 47, it started falling off a little more, and I'll show you on the notebook. So volume 49, the Smart Tech is going to kick in. So that probably will affect the Termlab more so than the other two devices, because it takes longer for the power readings to kick in or whatnot. And I just know that from experience. So anyway, volume 49, here we go. Smart Tech is kicking in. I can hear it, and it's going I can hear it in the resistors. So we've got 10,068 watts on the base head garage watt meter. So it's 10,068. And then we've got 9026 on the SPL lab. Then we've got 9904 on the Termlab. So right there, the SPL lab kind of lagged behind, whereas the base head garage watt meter and the Termlab, they were very similar. So let's go volume 50, and this is going to be our last test, and then I'll show you the results on the notebook. All right, volume 5. Matter of fact, I'm going to reset everything because sometimes this volume 50 versus volume 49 produces different results. So I'm going to reset everything just to be on the safe side, so we can pick up everything as it happens. Okay. Now we are back on peak hold with all three devices, and we are going to go volume 50, volume 50. We'll see what each one does, and the Smart Tech will kick in. And just as I thought, the power decreased across the board because it was too much, too many clicks into the volume, and that's what happens with amplifiers. That even the ones that don't have the Smart Tech, when you take an amplifier into clipping, when an amplifier goes too far into clipping, the output, the power output, starts reducing, and then you start losing SPL when you're talking about being in the lanes and being on a meter. So anyway, we've got 9686, and then 8622, and then 9215. All right, so I'm going to turn the amplifier off, and then I'm going to take the phone off the stand. Hopefully I don't stop the recording. All right. So there's the results. Take it for what you will. My personal opinion, just mark out the volume 49 and volume 50 testing, and then judge it from the volume 30 up to the volume 48, because the Smart Tech did kick in on volume 49 and volume 50. And they are all very similar. Now the Termlab did kind of fall off very slightly on volume 48. Well, volume 47 as well. So volume 47 and volume 48, the Termlab did fall off a little bit. So here's the results to the testing. 40 hertz, click by click on this Taramps Smart 8. Stay tuned for a different amplifier. Next weekend, I am picking up a Taramps Base 20K, and I will be using it for some further testing, because that amplifier does not have the Smart technology in it, so it will go into clipping. So we're going to be doing some testing these devices for one, and then also different battery types. So we want to see how much power we can pull out of each battery clean out of the Taramps Base 20K, and then into clipping. So keep your eyes open for that video. That'll probably be a couple of weeks in the making. So like I said, just keep your eyes open, and then just take this, just look at the results of this test, and judge for yourself which device that you feel like is the most accurate. Okay, that's it for this one.